What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. I got a mixed bag for y'all. Okay. I'm gonna try to do this quick and just straight to the point. Because certain things I'm gonna talk about, it's not a whole lot to say, but first off, congratulations to Billy Joe Saunders. He fought, Martin Murray, and if you've seen Murray fight, he's a tough guy. You know, he took a beating, he took a lot of punishment, and I mean, Billy Joe is an elite fighter, and at some point, that step up fight, he needs that step up fight where his name is being mentioned, with the elite fighters. So I mean, it's one of these things where I watch him fight, and then he's one of those guys that you think, well, damn, his name rarely comes up, at least over here in the States, and I mean, there's other fighters from all over the place. I mean, there's other British fighters whose names comes up, but Billy Joe Saunders' name rarely ever comes up, and I think he's a lot better than he gets credit for. But he needs that fight. He needs to start having those fights with these bigger names. But he just it was two different levels. Martin's lost before, but Billy Joe, it just looked like he was in there sparring, preparing for a fight. That's what it looked like. I mean, he put on a great boxing exhibition, and props to him for that fight. Props to Martin, because Martin's a tough dude, man. I mean, he was taking some massive shots, but hey, that was a solid performance by Billy Joe. I know people will say, well, this Martin guy ain't, no, Martin's a tough guy, man. And of course, yes, Billy Joe should have won, but he put on a solid performance. We've seen elite fighters, have their nights where they have a bad night and look bad, and then the whole world want to dog them out. So, props to that on him for that fight. Okay. On to something else that I saw, and this is getting ridiculous, man. Now, I'm finding out that, Usyk is now saying that he's complaining and saying that Chisora had little to no padding in his glove. And to bring it up now like it's a problem when you could have said something before, or you could have did something about it. Fighters get 2 pairs of gloves. And if it was a situation, let's say if you were told, well, we only have this 1 pair or whatever, I mean, you still could have made noise about it even then. Now, regardless to the padding in the glove, Usyk is going to fight the way he fought anyway, stay away. He's not going to stand there and try to bang with Chisora, okay? But at the same time, this looks like, it's soap opera nonsense, man. Like, certain things, if you're not going to address it when it happens, I think you should just leave it alone. Because it's like, okay, let's look at what happened, okay? From what I'm understanding, like I said, the gloves had little to no padding, okay? I'm not even going to say to no padding, because when you say that, I mean, like, listen at what you're saying, okay? And again, same thing. Don't you have someone from your team that see these gloves and approve? Okay, yes, you guys can use those. Now, we was told. Now, what I was told, what I found out was that Eddie Hearn was supposedly told him, like, so in other words, he said something to Eddie Hearn about it, and Eddie Hearn told him, you can use the same gloves, Okay. If you're saying that this man used illegal gloves, how stupid could a fighter be to just go in the ring and say, okay, you know what, I'll beat you with the illegal gloves then? Well, they obviously wasn't illegal. They was approved. And the fact is, you fought knowing ahead of time, okay, these gloves have no padding, but I'm going to go through with the fight. So why even bring it up? Now, if you're bringing it up because it's like, okay, this is an issue. This happened, but I kept quiet about it. But I'm going to say something now. Even to give the benefit of a doubt to say that that's what's happening. It's like, but you went through this. Then you're in the back room, you and your team and Chisora and his team eating burgers together, looking like you guys was showing, like it was good sportsmanship, and like, there was nothing but two guys who fought, and that was just basically, giving each other their props, and, like nothing. Nobody saw anything or heard any thing about any type of funny business. And all of a sudden now to bring this up is like, and I'm not going to ever say a person should not address something that they feel like they were done wrong, but how do you go through a fight knowing, okay, this man's gloves had no padding or very, very little padding? It bothers me. I don't like the idea, and I'm all for that. I can wear those same gloves, but the same type of gloves with the thin padding, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to refuse it. I don't want to wear those gloves. But I'm going to wait for some time to go by and then bring it up. I don't get that. Not to mention, if it's a problem and you feel like, hey, this guy's dirty, or there was some dirty business going on, so him and Eddie Hearn is dirty, why are you back there eating burgers with the guy? And like, I don't understand what's going on in boxing. I really don't. It's just so much soap opera type stuff. Like, this is the new norm for boxing now. It's like I say, man, boxing is like, it just feel like a couples therapy show or something, and it's just getting to the point, honestly, where like certain things I don't even want to talk about. It's like sometime I'm about to do a video, nah, you know what? I'll wait. Let me talk about something else. But I'm like, no, you know what? Let me get this out. And look, Derek Chisora has a side of the story, I'm sure, as well. And I'm pretty sure now, after hearing this, he's going to have something to say. He's going to have a response to it. But if you're complaining and you're saying that these gloves were approved by who? You yourself, if you had this conversation and you just let it go, I don't get that. Okay. I guess when Derek Chisora decides to address it, Eddie Hearn decides to address it, then they'll have their side. And honestly, I don't want to go back and forth about this subject. I got so sick of talking about the previous situation with these gloves to the point where, like, now it's just a big turnoff. It was a turnoff then, but now it's just getting to a point where it's just like, can we just talk about some goddamn boxing, man? There's two sides to the story. Derek Chisora has the right to defend himself, and so does Eddie Hearn. And, all I'm saying is, if you didn't say anything, I don't get it. You didn't say anything when it first happened. Why wait this long to all of a sudden address it? Same, like, just I want to talk about boxing, but I just putting this out there because this is boxing news, man. Okay. Errol Spence, Danny Garcia. Look. Questions was answered. Everybody was saying, is this guy's face going to hold up? Is he going to be the same physically? Because, we saw what happened. I can understand the skepticism. I can understand the concern. But one of the things that I looked at and I thought is, look, it would be stupid for these guys to put Errol Spence in a ring and not have him spar. First off, he shouldn't. Not take necessary precautions and take care of the guy. I don't think Errol's that stupid that I just want to fight so bad I'm going to risk jumping in there and I'm not ready. What I understand that they was doing, they moved him along. He was doing a lot of shadow boxing, training, doing everything other than taking blows to the face and sparring, which is necessary and understandable. Now, as the time goes, for his face to heal, because when he first was talking about jumping back in the ring, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's way too soon, man. Like, give it some time. Make sure you're completely healed before you jump in there. because like it's no reason to do that. Like it's just not. So I think that I know that would be completely stupid. That hey, we don't even know what this guy has. You know, you have to see something because at some point he has to have full contact sparring. I'm pretty sure he did. And at some point he's like, okay, so he knows, okay, yeah, I can take the shots. I'm healed. Okay. Understand, you know, I get the concern, but understand, if you got a good chin, you got a good chin. Okay. And I'm pretty sure the point of people thinking like that's understandable. That, you know, hey, he might not be the same after the accident. Well, now we know he is. Now, what people need to stop doing is this. Stop the hate, man. See, you guys built up Danny Garcia and said Danny Garcia is this, is that. Yo, Danny hits hard and Danny's this and this. Yeah, Danny can fight. Danny hits hard. At the same time, Errol Spence can box. And that's one of the things that people overlook with him. This is why even like when Roy Jones and guys are saying, "Oh, Mikey Garcia don't count because he's not a real welterweight." You know what I'm saying? So you know he's lightweight. He moved up. So what? So what? The point of Errol Spence when he fought Mikey Garcia, Errol didn't try to knock him out. I seen him put some pressure to throw some bombs at him later in the fight. But the whole point was he just wanted to show, look, I can box. That's something that people always overlook with Errol Spence, is that Errol can box, because Errol loves to stand there and bang and make a fight harder than it needs to be. Okay, and so people overlook the fact that he can box. Look, the jab was key all night long. Garcia couldn't handle that jab, and he said out of his own mouth that he threw me off with the jab. Kept offsetting me with the jab. Errol can box, man. So don't now build Danny Garcia up, and then now all of a sudden when he lose, oh man, Danny Garcia ain't shit. He can't beat nobody. No. Don't do that. Danny Garcia is a good fighter. Okay. Danny Garcia is obviously not as good as the guys that beat him. Now there's always a rematch, but I always felt like out of the elite welterweights, if we're talking Sean Porter, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, I put Danny Garcia underneath all of them. I always have. I felt like they were just better than him. Okay. I didn't see him beating Errol Spence, and I said the only way that I see him beating Errol Spence, if it was a situation where Errol Spence is not 100% and he is like damaged goods. Other than that, no. If Errol's even close to what he was, he'll beat Danny Garcia. And this is not a knock on Danny. I just feel like Errol's the better fighter. I mean, it was an easy win. It was clear. I mean, this was decisive, man. This was, his fights with the fights that he lost with Sean and with Keith were much closer than this wasn't even close. So for people to say, there's no way in hell that this man car flipped over like that and he can come back and beat Danny Garcia, and now when he does it, nah man, the fight was fixed. I already heard some crazy stuff. The fight was fixed, man. That was fixed. And also the bashing of Danny Garcia because he shouldn't have lost to Errol Spence. All right, anyway. So, look, Errol did what he had to do. His first fight back, no warm-up fight, straight to an elite welterweight. Danny Garcia was elite then, he's elite now. But like I said, I think the other guys, I put them over him. But at the same time, he's still an elite level welterweight. He got beat by the better man. It's as simple as that. So all that hate nonsense with, oh man, there's no way he could beat this guy and all. Well, he just did. Okay. Errol did his thing. He did what he had to do. And shout out to Danny Garcia for stepping up to take the fight. Now, all the questions about Errol Spence, can he take it? Is he 100% or whatever? Well, hey, listen. Unanimous decision over Danny Garcia, and it's obvious he can take it. And like he said, he'll be better in his next fight. We'll see. But at the same time, he did what he had to do. Just give the man his credit, give him his props, man. He won the fight. All of the excuses and all of the hate, now all of a sudden, no, Danny Garcia went from being this hard-hitting, tough guy to, oh man, Danny Garcia is trash. And no, you guys wasn't saying it before the fight. You guys, a lot of people, I guarantee you, ain't no way in hell he's going to beat Danny Garcia, because there's no way he's going to come back from that accident and nah, he's going to lose. Okay, that's what you stuck with. That's what you said. You were wrong. Get over it. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. So anyway, that's that. Anthony Yarde. He loses to, Lyndon. He beat him with a jab, man. Anthony Yarde feels like he got robbed. He feels like he definitely won the fight. That's how he feels. I don't. I think Lyndon outboxed him. I think Lyndon just basically, hey, listen. I said this in the previous video. The jab will take you a long way. Anthony Yarde, he goes for the kill, man. It's like he's trying to get that old aura back. That Anthony Yarde that was people going, oh, this guy's scary, and he's trying to, he's trying to get Lyndon out of there. Just trying to hit a home run way too many times. Lyndon kept his poise, he kept calm, kept cool, and he worked off that jab. He beat him with a jab, man. And what Anthony Yarde needs to understand, okay? No matter how hard you hit, there's going to be times when you just can't knock certain people out. Whether they're just taking the shot, or whether you just can't hit them, or you just can't catch them clean. Whatever it may be, you have to have a plan B, plan C, plan D. You have to have more gears than just one. And when I'm looking at too, it's his corner. He kept talking about lions in the room and all this, and the instructions were crazy. Like, what are you telling this man? Anthony Yarde, look, he's definitely not a fighter who can find his own way. He's not a fighter that can understand why he's losing. He doesn't understand what's going on. Why am I in this position right now? He's not a fighter that can figure these things out. Every fighter has a corner. You need somebody in your corner. We get that. But elite level fighters, even when they sit on the stool taking instruction, they know what's going on. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of times, they're just responding with a head nod or okay, but they go out and they do something completely different from what the corner's telling them, because they understand what's going on, and they also feel and see things that they can take advantage of in the fight. So I'm listening to his corner, and I'm like, what kind of instructions are they giving this guy, man? Like, look, I'm not one to try to rip people just to have something to say, to just point a finger, but he might need a new corner. I mean, the instructor, I don't know if you guys paid attention to it, but the instructions they were giving him in that corner was like, I'm like, are you serious, man? This guy is trying to take this man's head off. He's missing shots. He's overcommitting to punches. It's just not necessary. And he was, don't get me wrong, he was landing some shots. He was fighting. It's not like he was in there not fighting, but I thought he lost the fight. He thinks he won the fight. Now they're saying rematch. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, we got a lot of boxing. There's a whole lot of other fights, and it's just so many. I don't think I'm gonna, do a video for every single fight. There's just so many. But just wanted to get this video in, get this information out to you guys. Tell me what y'all think about the Yarde Lyndon fight. Tell me what y'all think about that. Do y'all really think he won? Do you think that the fight could have went either way? Do you think the right man won the fight? Out of all the fights, you could comment about whatever fights you want, but that's the one fight. I want the feedback on that fight particularly, because he's basically complaining, saying that he really won the fight. So let me know what y'all think about that fight. Listen, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. I will catch y'all on the next video.